If you've ever opened your front door to family, thinking you were doing the kind, decent thing, let me warn you, not every guest knows how to leave. I learned that the hard way. When my sister-in-law moved in, it was supposed to be temporary. 2 weeks, tops. A few nights of sleeping on the couch until she found her footing again. Instead, she slowly, quietly began claiming everything that was mine, room by room, routine by routine, even him. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Emily Parker. I'm 25, married for 3 years to the love of my life, Matt. We live in a modest 2-story house in Raleigh, North Carolina. Nothing flashy, but it's ours, bought with long nights, shared dreams, and far too many takeout dinners while we scrimped and saved for a down payment. It was our home. Until his sister arrived. Her name is Ashley. Matt's younger sister by 2 years. Beautiful in the kind of effortless way that makes people assume she's fragile, harmless. Big hazel eyes, long wavy brown hair, a smile that seems innocent, until you look closer. I had my suspicions from the beginning. But Matt always saw her as the little girl who used to follow him around the house in pajamas, begging him to watch cartoons. To him, Ashley was family. Untouchable. Needing protection. So when she called one rainy Thursday afternoon, voice trembling through the speakerphone, saying she'd just broken up with her boyfriend and didn't know where else to go, Matt didn't even ask me. He just said, "Of course, Ash. Come stay with us. We'll figure it out." I forced a smile. Of course. But something inside me twisted. Ashley arrived that night with 2 massive suitcases, a garment bag, a tote full of cosmetics, and a cat named Roscoe. She looked like she'd walked off the cover of a heartbreak editorial. Mascara slightly smudged, wearing a hoodie 3 sizes too big, hair artfully messy. "Oh, Em," she said, pulling me into a hug, "you have no idea how much I needed this." Matt took her bags upstairs before I could protest. Upstairs. To our guest room. That room, the one I'd painstakingly decorated into my small creative office, complete with a reading nook and desk, was now hers. I stood at the bottom of the stairs, my voice caught in my throat. "Just until she finds a place," Matt said later, as if reading my thoughts. "She's had it rough." "Yeah," I said. "But so did we, when we first moved in. No one let us move into their house for free." He kissed my cheek. "It's just family. She'll be gone before we know it." He was wrong. The first week was bearable. Ashley stayed in her room most of the time, occasionally emerging in yoga pants to reheat leftovers and dramatically recount the horrors of her past relationship. "I just need to reset my energy," she told me once, sprawled across the couch with a face mask on. "Your house has such good vibes." I wanted to say, "It did. Before you got here." But I kept my mouth shut. Matt was sweet to her. Too sweet. Offering to pick up her favorite snacks at the store, letting her choose the movie on our only free Friday night, fixing a leaky showerhead in the guest bathroom like it was urgent home surgery. I told myself it was fine. Family helps family. This was temporary. But then week 2 arrived. And Ashley didn't leave. She started rearranging things. Subtle at first. The throw pillows in the living room? Too stiff. I put them in storage and used mine instead, so much comfier. The kitchen spice rack? It's cute, but I swapped it around to make it easier to reach while I cook. Hope that's okay. Even the fridge had new rules. My labeled containers disappeared. Her oat milk took center shelf. "Your stuff was just kind of blocking everything," she said with a sweet smile. I wanted to scream. But Matt. He didn't notice. Or pretended not to. "She's just trying to help," he said when I brought it up. "You're being a little territorial." Territorial. In my own house. Week 3, I came home from work to find Ashley in my bathrobe. She was lounging on the patio, sipping wine from my favorite glass, Roscoe the cat curled in her lap. "Hope you don't mind," she said casually. I couldn't find mine. I didn't answer. I walked inside, locked myself in the bathroom, and let the anger rise like a wave. Matt wasn't home. So I texted him. We need to talk about Ashley. Matt, what now? She's in my robe. Again. Matt, Jesus, It's a robe. It's not about the robe. It's about everything. Matt, can we not do this over text? Fine. When he came home, we argued. Quietly at first, then louder. The kind of fight that hums like a fridge before suddenly kicking on with a bang. "She's your sister," he kept saying. "And this is our home," I shot back. "I didn't marry her. She doesn't have anywhere else. She doesn't want anywhere else." That shut him up. Because deep down, we both knew I was right. Ashley was comfortable. Too comfortable. And she wasn't planning to leave. Things got worse. She started joining us for everything. Our Sunday breakfast tradition? She was there, flipping pancakes like it was her ritual. Movie night? She'd grab the remote before I could sit down. Date night? She'd conveniently need a ride or want to vent just as we were walking out the door. And worst of all, Matt stopped seeing it. Stopped seeing me. He brushed off my concerns. Said I was overreacting. That I needed to be patient. "She's hurting," he said. "Can't you be a little more compassionate?" I stared at him and realized something terrifying. Ashley wasn't just in my house. She was inside my marriage. Then came the night that changed everything. I came home late from work. Traffic had been awful. I was exhausted. All I wanted was a hot shower, a glass of wine, and silence. But as I opened the door, I froze. Laughter. Coming from the kitchen. Ashley and Matt. Cooking. Together. She was wearing my apron. He was chopping vegetables. They looked like a couple. She saw me and smiled, completely unfazed. "Hey, we made your favorite, lemon butter salmon. Hope you don't mind I used your recipe." I blinked. Matt looked over. "We figured we'd surprise you." I smiled tightly. "You did." But something inside me snapped. I excused myself, went upstairs, and for the first time in our marriage, I locked the bedroom door. Alone. I lay awake that night staring at the ceiling. My home felt like a hotel. My marriage felt like a performance. And Ashley? She felt like the director of a play I didn't audition for, but somehow ended up in anyway. I didn't know what was coming next. But I knew one thing for sure. If I didn't take my life back soon, I wouldn't have a life to return to. The day after I locked the bedroom door, I half expected Matt to knock. To apologize. To say, "You were right. She's taken over everything." But he didn't. Instead, he left a note on the bathroom mirror. "We'll talk tonight. Please don't shut me out." And maybe that's what broke me more than anything, the idea that I was the one shutting him out, when I was the one slowly being pushed out of my own life. That morning, I walked into the kitchen and found Ashley at the stove. She didn't flinch. She was wearing my silk robe again, the one Matt gave me on our honeymoon. Her hair was wrapped in a towel, earbuds in, humming to some song while she whisked eggs. I stared at her. She didn't even turn. I poured coffee, burned my tongue, and left without saying a word. And still, she never turned around. Work became my safe space. A small graphic design agency, mostly startup clients, nothing glamorous, but it was mine. There, I wasn't Matt's wife or Ashley's sister-in-law. I was Emily, sharp, efficient, dependable. Every morning, I left 10 minutes earlier. Every evening, I came home later. And each day I was gone, it felt like the house was becoming less mine. Ashley rearranged the pantry, all the healthy food to the front, the snacks I liked pushed into high cabinets I couldn't reach without a stool. She started using my shampoo. She took over the hall closet, temporarily, with her coats and boots. And worst of all, she put up a photo of her and Matt on the mantel. Just the two of them. Childhood picture. Smiling. Arms around each other. She put it right where our wedding photo used to sit. The wedding photo? I found it in a box in the garage. That night, I confronted Matt. He looked up from his laptop as I stormed into the living room. "Where's our wedding photo?" He blinked. "What?" "On the mantel. Where it's supposed to be." "Why is it gone?" He frowned. "I don't know. Maybe Ashley moved it." "She did. And put up a picture of you two instead." He rubbed his forehead. "Emily, you're blowing this out of proportion." "No," I snapped. "You're letting her erase me. One frame at a time." He stood. "She's going through something. Can't you cut her some slack?" "Going through something?" "Matt, she has taken over my robe, my kitchen, my closet, my husband. How much more slack do you want me to cut?" He stepped back, stunned. "Your husband?" I realized what I'd said. But it was already in the air, bitter, sharp, and undeniable. "I didn't mean." "No," he said, hands raised. "You meant it. You think she and I?" "Jesus, Emily. She's not your lost puppy, Matt," I hissed. "She's a manipulator. And you're letting her run this house." He didn't speak for a long time. Then, quietly, "You're jealous." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was insane. "No," I said. "I'm tired. Tired of being second place in my own home." After the fight, we didn't talk for 3 days. He slept on the couch. Ashley made a show of bringing him a blanket, then looking at me as if I were the heartless one. And for the first time in our marriage, I didn't care if he came back to bed. I started documenting everything. It sounds paranoid, I know. But something inside me clicked, a survival instinct I didn't know I had. Photos. Notes. Dates. The robe, the photo swap, the closet invasion. One night, I came home to find her sitting at my vanity, using my makeup brushes. I took a photo. Then deleted it. Then regretted deleting it. I started keeping a notebook. Ashley Watch, I jokingly called it in my head. But it was more than that. It was evidence. Because if things kept going this way, I'd need it. Then something happened that shifted everything. I came home early. Client meeting cancelled. Traffic light. Just before 4 p.m. When I walked in, the house was quiet. Too quiet. I heard faint laughter. A movie playing. And voices. 2 voices. I crept up the stairs, unsure what I was expecting. Matt and Ashley were on the bed, our bed, watching a movie on his laptop. Fully clothed. Laughing. But on our bed. Her feet under the blanket. His arm behind her on the pillow. They looked comfortable. Too comfortable. When I stepped into the room, they both froze. Ashley sat up like a child caught sneaking cookies. Matt looked guilty. "Hey," he said. "You're home early." "I can see that." Ashley grabbed her phone and slipped off the bed. "I'll leave you too." "Don't bother," I said. "I'm not staying." Matt stood. "Emily." But I was already walking down the stairs. I didn't go far. Just to the park 2 blocks away. Sat on a bench under a dying maple tree. Called my sister. And cried. Real, shaking, breath-stealing sobs. I told her everything. The robe. The picture. The bed. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, You need to get her out. I've tried. Try harder. And Matt? Give him a choice. That night, I came home and waited. Waited for Ashley to go to bed. Waited for Matt to settle in the living room. Then I turned off the TV. He looked up. What? I need to say something. And I want you to listen, really listen. He nodded. I stood there, trembling but certain. This house is mine. Ours. I helped pay for it. I built a life here. And I'm not going to watch someone else walk through it like she owns it. Matt opened his mouth. I raised my hand. No. This time, you don't get to defend her. This time, you choose. He blinked. What are you saying? I'm saying Ashley has 1 week to leave. And if I don't agree? Then I'll leave. And you can stay here with your sister. The air froze. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me. And maybe he didn't. Maybe I didn't either. Because I had always been the quiet one. The patient one. The peacemaker. But not anymore. Not when I had nothing left to lose. Matt didn't answer right away. He just sat there, silent. I walked upstairs without another word. Locked the bedroom door. And for the first time in weeks, I slept like someone who remembered what it meant to stand up for herself. The morning after I gave Matt the ultimatum, the house felt like it was holding its breath. Ashley didn't say good morning. Matt barely looked at me. Even Roscoe the cat avoided me, as if sensing that the atmosphere had changed, that the woman in this house had finally drawn a line, and everything beyond it was a threat. I ate breakfast in silence while Ashley clanged around the kitchen, her movements louder than necessary, a performance of domesticity, with my pans, my mugs, my kitchen. It was like living with a stranger who insisted on calling herself family. By day 2, Matt still hadn't said a word about my demand. No, let's talk. No, you were right. Just small talk about bills, groceries, work. As if I hadn't told him his sister had 1 week to get out or I'd be the one packing my bags. I wanted to scream. But I waited. Because the woman I was before might have folded. Might have let this become another compromise. But I'd reached my limit. And I meant every word I said. On day 3, Ashley tried to manipulate me again. It started with a note on the fridge. Hey I folded your laundry. Smiling face with smiling eyes. My laundry. The idea of her touching my clothes, going into my room, made my skin crawl. I rushed upstairs and found a neatly stacked pile of shirts on the bed. Some weren't even dry. Others were shrunk from the dryer. My favorite blouse was creased wrong, as if she'd folded it just to prove she could. I didn't say thank you. I didn't say anything. But that night, I rewashed everything. In silence. Matt came home late that day. He smelled like whiskey and regret. I was on the couch, reading. He stood in the doorway like a man debating whether to walk in or keep running. She's my sister, he said finally, voice low. I know. She has no one else. She has you. He looked at me. I'm not choosing between you. I met his gaze. Then you already have. He sat beside me, head in his hands. You don't understand. When our parents died, she was just a kid. I practically raised her. She's not a kid anymore. I know. She's not your responsibility anymore. He looked broken. Not because he didn't believe me. But because he did, and it made everything worse. Emily, he whispered, if I ask her to leave, she'll hate me. I turned to him, my voice shaking. If you don't, I will. On day 4, Ashley crossed the final line. I came home from work early, needing a shower, a nap, and 1 hour of silence. Instead, I found her in my room. Wearing one of my dresses. The red one. The one Matt had bought me for our anniversary last year, the one that hugged my waist just right, the one I kept hung at the back of the closet for special occasions. She was standing in front of the mirror, turning side to side. She didn't see me at first. When she did, she froze, but not in fear. In defiance. "Emily," she said, smiling coolly. "You're home early." I couldn't speak. My fists clenched. She twirled once, looked at her reflection. "This really is a great dress. You should wear it more often." I stepped into the room, voice low. "Take it off." She raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" "You heard me." "Jesus," she muttered, rolling her eyes. "Relax. I didn't stretch it or anything. You went into my room. Into my closet." She shrugged. "It's not like you're wearing it. That's not the point." She sighed dramatically and slipped the dress off, tossing it onto the bed like it was nothing. I stared at her, breathing hard. And in that moment, I saw it, clearly. She wasn't lost. She wasn't fragile. She wasn't some abandoned little sister. She was calculated. She wanted my life. Not just the house. Not just the comfort. But the relationship. The attention. The sense of place. She had taken every inch I gave her and used it to build a throne for herself, in my space, in my marriage. And I wasn't going to let it go any further. That night, I laid it out for Matt. Not quietly. Not carefully. Clearly. She wore my dress. She was in our bedroom. Again. He blinked. "What?" "She's not confused. She's competing with me." "Emily." "No, listen. This ends now. Not in 3 more days. Not next week. Now." He didn't speak. So I kept going. "I've let you coddle her. I've let her take over everything. But if you don't tell her to leave, tonight, I will. And if you don't back me up, I'll leave instead." His jaw clenched. "Where would you go?" "I'll figure it out." "Seriously?" "Yes." We stood there, 10 feet apart, a chasm between us built from silent concessions and unspoken resentments. And finally, he said, "Okay." Ashley didn't cry. She laughed. When Matt told her, that night, in the living room, she acted like we were the villains in her soap opera. "Wow," she said, shaking her head. "Seriously? You're choosing her over me?" Matt didn't flinch. "It's her house too. She's manipulative. She's my wife." Ashley turned to me. "Congratulations. You win." I didn't smile. "This was never a game," I said quietly. She packed slowly. Sloppily. Left a pile of things behind. "Too heavy to carry," she claimed. Matt offered to help. I glared him into silence. By midnight, she was gone. I stood at the window, watching her drive away, headlights cutting through the night like a final declaration. She didn't look back. And I didn't expect her to. The silence afterward was unbearable. Matt and I moved around the house like strangers. The tension between us hadn't left with Ashley. Because beneath everything she did, there was still the truth neither of us wanted to say out loud. He let it happen. He let her take over. And I let him. A week later, he tried. He brought flowers. Cooked dinner. Turned on my favorite music. I didn't respond. He reached for my hand. I pulled away. "You let her erase me," I whispered. "And you didn't stop her." "I know." He looked ashamed. "Truly. I don't know how to fix it." I looked him in the eye. "Then maybe you don't get to." We started therapy. Not because I forgave him. But because I wanted to see if I could. I made it clear, this was for me. Not for him. Not for us. If he wanted me to stay, he had to rebuild the foundation. Brick by brick. Without shortcuts. Without her. And he always made her the priority. Now he's finally seeing me. I think I could be better for him. She doesn't see him the way I do. I don't even think she deserves this life. My hand shook. The anger returned. But this time I felt something stronger, closure. Because now I knew. It was never about family. Never about survival. It was about control. And I had taken it back. Ashley was gone. But the silence she left behind wasn't peace, it was aftermath. The house no longer smelled like her shampoo. The hall closet didn't bulge with her jackets. Her tea boxes were gone from the kitchen, and Roscoe the cat had gone with her, leaving nothing behind but a single toy mouse under the couch. And yet, I still felt her. In the dent on the couch cushion. In the faint outline of her framed photo on the mantel, now replaced with a fresh image of Matt and me, happier, younger, from a time before everything got so complicated. Therapy helped. Not all at once. But slowly, like peeling back old wallpaper, layer by stubborn layer. Matt sat through the uncomfortable silences. He listened. He didn't defend her anymore. He let me say the hard things, and he stopped pretending they didn't matter. We didn't fix things in a week. Or even a month. But we stopped pretending we didn't need to. One night, I asked him. Did you ever think about what would have happened if I hadn't said anything? If I just kept letting her take more and more? He looked ashamed. I think. I wanted peace. And I thought that meant avoiding conflict. But I see now, peace without boundaries is just surrender. That stuck with me. Because for months, I'd surrendered little pieces of myself in the name of peace. My robe. My kitchen. My bed. Even my voice. And now? I was reclaiming all of it. We remodeled the guest room. Painted it sea glass green. I bought new curtains, Matt assembled a new bed frame, and together we chose art for the walls, prints from our honeymoon road trip. It wasn't just a room anymore. It was a declaration. We weren't leaving space for anyone to take over again. Then, 3 weeks after she left, Ashley texted. Hey. Can I come by and pick up a few things I forgot? I stared at the message. Matt saw it too. What do you want to do? I want you to answer her. So he did. Sure. But I'll meet you in the driveway. Emily prefers not to have you in the house. She replied with a thumbs up. And I exhaled. It was the first time Matt chose me publicly, explicitly. It wasn't much. But it was something. When Ashley arrived, I watched from the upstairs window. She got out of her car wearing oversized sunglasses and a fake smile. Matt handed her a cardboard box. They spoke briefly. She glanced up at the house once. But I didn't flinch. Then she left. No drama. No tears. Just an exit. The next night, Matt and I ate dinner in silence. Halfway through, he said, "Thank you." For what? For not giving up on me. I looked at him. At the man who had disappointed me. Who had let me drown in my own home. And who was trying, really trying, to become the partner I'd married. I almost did, I said. He nodded. I know. And somehow, that made it easier to stay. Later that week, while going through boxes in the attic, I found a letter. Not from Ashley. From Matt. Written months ago, never given to me. It read. Emily. I see it now. How she crept in. How I let her. You deserved better. You still do. I'm going to spend every day proving I can be that man again. I love you. M. I sat there, on the attic floor, holding the letter with shaking hands. And I cried. Not because I was broken, but because I was healing. Because this wasn't a story about a sister-in-law who tried to take over my house. It was about a woman who forgot how to stand her ground. And then remembered. And a man who learned how to build with her again. The house is quiet now. But it's not empty. It's filled with reclaimed laughter. With small victories. With boundaries honored, and love rebuilt. The house is mine again. Because I finally remembered I never needed permission to take it back. The first morning that truly felt like mine again started with nothing extraordinary. Just the smell of fresh coffee. Sunlight spilling through the kitchen window. My robe, clean, folded, and right where it belonged. The way Matt greeted me with a kiss on the temple, then handed me a steaming mug without a word. Peace doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it tiptoes in when the noise finally dies. And the noise, the months of Ashley's whispering presence, her slow invasion, her entitlement dressed as helplessness, had finally gone quiet. But that didn't mean the damage was forgotten. It just meant I was strong enough now to live past it. A month after Ashley left, Matt and I took a weekend trip to Asheville. Just us. No family drama. No quick check-ins. No distractions. We stayed in a little cabin tucked in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It was the first time we'd been away together in over a year. We hiked. We talked, really talked, about the things we'd both avoided for too long. He told me how guilt had guided too many of his decisions. How he'd felt trapped between loyalty and love. I told him how betrayal doesn't always look like cheating. Sometimes, it's standing silent while the person you love is being erased. He listened. I forgave. Not all at once. But in pieces. And sometimes, that's the only way trust can grow again, like new grass pushing up through burned earth. We made new rules for our marriage. No family members live with us more than 1 week, no exceptions. Boundaries are discussed together, not unilaterally. When one of us feels erased, the other doesn't dismiss it, we stop and unpack it. It felt awkward, even childish at first. But sometimes survival requires structure. And we were surviving. Not just our relationship, but the version of ourselves we had become under pressure. Ashley did reach out again. A text. Simple. Surprising. I was angry. I crossed lines. You didn't deserve that. I'm sorry. I stared at the message for a long time. Not because I didn't appreciate it, but because I didn't need it anymore. Forgiveness had already come. Quietly. For me. I didn't respond. Not out of spite. But because sometimes healing doesn't require a conversation. Sometimes it just means closing a door, and not reopening it. Matt and I hosted friends for dinner a few weeks later, the first time since everything. People laughed. We clinked glasses. Music played in the background. At one point, I caught Matt looking at me across the room, smiling in a way he hadn't in months, like he saw me again. Really saw me. And I smiled back. Because I saw him too. Not just the man who disappointed me. But the man who had stood beside me when I took my house back. Who had built something stronger in the ruins of what we almost lost. That night, as we lay in bed, I whispered, "Do you think she'll ever come back?" Matt was quiet. Then he said, "Not unless we let her." And we won't. Because this house, these walls, this marriage, this life, is ours. Not hers. And I'll never let anyone take it from me again. Because I learned that boundaries aren't betrayal. They're survival. And reclaiming your space is the most powerful act of love you can give yourself.